Hello and welcome to Rebel Unicorn Crafts. I'm Lacey and I am continuing my exploration into fluid painting, narrowing down some of the variables that affect your fluid painting outcomes. Today we're going to be exploring silicone. So normally I use just a treadmill silicone that I bought from Amazon, but there was a good sale at my local art store on this acrylic pour oil, which is just silicone. It just happens to come in a larger bottle than I usually buy. So we're going to be using this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same paint, because what we're really trying to do in this series is explore variables on their own. So last time we tested two types of paints against each other. This time we're going to be testing using silicone versus not using silicone and how that changes what happens in the painting. So we're going to use Craft Smart. I'm only going to use Craft Smart. I'm going to mix up the same of each color, same amount about, and I'm going to dilute them the same amount with water. And then we're going to try to complete the pour in the same way and see what the difference is, if there is much of a difference. So let's get started.
For this test, on the left will be the painting without silicone, and on the right will be the painting with silicone. In order to limit the number of variables that we're going to be testing, I actually mixed up a double quantity of each color, and then I'm going to split that into 2 cups so that we're starting with the same base. So there's not going to be any difference in how much I watered each of these colors down. We're working with a light blue, a black, a dark blue, a white, and a yellow. So I have placed all of my appropriate cups by their canvases, and I'm going to add silicone only to 3 of the colors on the right side, the black, the dark blue, and the light blue. And I added about 3 big drops to each of those. We'll mix those in and we'll get started pouring. In order to test the single variable of silicone, I'm going to try my best to do the same technique on each of these. A dirty cup, in which I pour the same colors of paint in the same order in approximately the same amounts. This is the cup with the silicone, and this is without. I'm not seeing any huge differences from the first look, but let's flip these over. Another drum roll. We'll let these sit, and then we'll pull them up and see. And now is my favorite part. Bloop. I really like when it just blops out of there, like that. So right away I can see a couple differences. One, I think I did put more paint in the no silicone jar, a little bit more, so it flowed a little more, but I'm seeing a ton more cells off the bat with the silicone. Just instantly, you can tell a difference. Let's go ahead and move these around until we've get a bunch of the paint off, as well as get it to how we like. And I'll try to move these in the same general way in order to ideally get as close of a comparison as I can to the other painting. This is really kind of interesting to me how different the paint is with just a little bit of silicone added. The non-silicone painting is looking more like marble, whereas the one with silicone is just full of cells, except for in the yellow, which I guess is kind of obvious because I only put it in the blues and the black. Although I am surprised that it seems like there's a little black behind the yellow and that the silicone hasn't changed any of that. So I'll go ahead and get these to a place where I like them. I decided that I really wanted a little more of the detail of the kind of opposite colors. Like I really like that yellow in the silicone painting, and I liked the black stripy area in the not silicone painting. So we're gonna get a little more of that onto the painting before we finish. And now it's time to hit this with a torch and see what happens. My hypothesis is that it's going to react more on the one with silicone. So I'm hitting it on the non-silicone there. This is with the silicone, and you see I get a little spray, but I don't get too much on the one without silicone. But I guess I didn't get that many on the one with silicone either, so not much of a difference. At this point, you just need to decide whether you want a lot of cells or not as many. Jumping to the future, I let these dry, and the biggest surprise of this test was not whether or not I would develop cells, it was how it dried. The paintings dried very differently. I do occasionally get some cracking in my paintings, but usually it seems like because I left the paint too thick and so it dries on the top before it fully dries underneath it. In this instance, I thought that I got them both about the same thickness, but I only have a few cracks from an area where it was too wet on the painting without silicone, but on the painting with silicone, it's cracked all throughout. It's almost ripply. I don't necessarily think that ruins the painting because it gives a little character, and I think it'd be really cool to cover that with resin, but it does really change the result of the painting. It changes it drastically from wet to dry. So what do you think? Are you going to use silicone? Do you care if silicone makes it crack, or is it all about the cells? Well, let me know. Also, if you have any thoughts on what I should test next, please let me know because I'm having a lot of fun exploring these variables of fluid painting so that we can better understand it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a magical day. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. If you are local to Northern Colorado, please visit my website, rebelunicorncrafts.com, to book a class, or you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at rebelunicorncrafts. Get out there and get creative.